And architecture is a field where you have to be creative. You have to come with something new. You keep discussing, keep discussing with your peer architects, keep discussing with your client, keep discussing with your consultant, and ideas come from different places.
तो मतलब होता क्या है एक्चुअली अगर एक लेमैन को समझाना हो?
Sustainable itself means that a building can sustain, right? Sustain with time, sustain its needs and it's not depending on the outside.
Technologies that I can use or innovations I can implement to feel happy and be sustainable to the environment as well.
Bangalore itself has a very good present temperature, but off late even we are getting temperature which is at a high level, but then still in such houses you can minimize the number of time for the days.
हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू द डिज़ाइन एंड बिल्ड शो। मेरा नाम है अमरदीप सिंह सलूजा। आज हमारे जो गेस्ट है आर्किटेक्ट संजय जैन। ही इज़ अ फाउंडर एट ट्रॉपिक रिस्पॉन्स एंड he has been doing a lot of researches on sustainable architecture and a very passionate architect who wants to implement all the sustainable techniques into any kind of small or big projects. So enjoy the conversation, guys. So hi Sanjay, welcome to the Design and Build show. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So आज हमें मौका मिला आपसे बात करने का काफी टाइम बाद। So we wanted to understand कि जर्नी स्टार्ट कहाँ हुई आर्किटेक्चर की आपकी। So start from the background, बचपन में क्या हुआ, कैसे हुआ, then go ahead.
Okay, from the school days, not been very great in my studies.
Okay.
10th I was very average, or maybe till 8th I was very poor. Then, so we had a garment showroom. My dad used to run a family garment showroom. Back in early, we started early in 80s and then went on till 2000, right? So when I completed 10th, he got his shop renovated.
Okay.
And then we hired an architect, interior designer to renovate the shop.
Mhm.
That is the first time the entire family was introduced to this field, interior architecture, right? So we came to know something like this field exists.
Okay.
So that was the first introduction to this field, right?
Mhm.
And then I completed 12th. So after completing 12th or during the course of 12th, I was sure that I didn't want to do your normal engineering subject, right? So back in late 90s, early 20s, 2000, there's a lot of scope for engineering. Every other person who was the student were going into engineering background, do IT, and then go abroad and settle there, right? So even from my own batch, a lot of people who went into engineering.
At that time, everyone want to be an engineer or a doctor. Yeah.
So I wanted to explore some other field. Of course, at that time, I didn't know what I wanted to go into architecture. Then my dad persuaded me to get into this field, understand. In fact, initially, after 12th, I joined a cricket academy in Bangalore. I started playing cricket, and then I went on to give entrance for hotel management. Then, coincidentally, my dad traveled to Delhi for a shopping, right? So he used to purchase garments from Bangalore, Delhi,
Okay.
Kolkata. So at that point of time, he visited Delhi. And he called me and said, "Why don't you come to Delhi and then explore some architectural colleges?" That's why I ended up into architecture very fast.
Okay.
So when I joined in architecture, I didn't know what exactly what we will be doing it and what. Then I came to Delhi and then did my official education from Delhi. My initial practice also was from Delhi. I started very early practicing right from my end of second year onwards, right? So I started working during evenings or even during vacation time. I used to work. Then I worked in Site Synergy, was the develop this project management company where I was part of Connectivity Walk. Right, so these were initial motivation or inspiration for me to kind of pursue it further into architecture. Right? And the initial bigger projects kind of gave me a lot of boost. Was very lucky to be part of bigger projects. And, and then my personal motivation also, right, it keep me uh, was to keep me going to know what next, what new material, what new technique. Right?
Yeah.
So that kept me glued.
So when you practiced in Delhi, I guess you started in second year, right?
Yes.
So you worked with which architect?
This is a firm called Anagram Architects. So they were the startup when I kind of joined them. So he was in fact there were 3 or 4 partners. So one of the partner was our lecturer who was taking services, building services. His name was Professor Swastik Harish.
Okay.
And he casually, I don't remember whether I started the initial discussion. He generally asked me, "Would you be interested to work?" Yes, I'm definitely interested. Why not? Just give me a like.
How was the experience there?
The first day I cannot forget.
Yeah.
It was very embarrassing. Well, when I went to the office, they gave me a building and asked me to cut a single line section, and I was clueless. I was absolutely clueless. There was a lot of levels in the building. It was a decently big project for a second year student.
Right.
They asked me to do it in the CAD. So it's completely clueless. It took me around 15-20 minutes to even kind of understand the initial very basic of design. So the senior came and helped me to understand and design. That kind of somehow even they were in the initial stage, so even they were looking for people.
So you worked there for how many? What period you worked there?
So all my college time, right from second year onwards, I started working there till the end of the college. On 3.5 years, I worked there. So only my internship, I didn't do it from there. This official 6-month internship, I went on to do with Synergy Property Development in Silk City Walk. Right. Apart from that, all my practice during college days was with
Then you moved to Bangalore, or you worked here in Delhi as well? You practiced here?
No. So as soon as I got graduated, I went to Vellore. Vellore is my hometown. So I went back to Vellore, hometown, and then I was figuring out what to do. So every day I used to end up going to the shop, sit in the shop, help dad with the business. Right? So then I realized if I continue doing this for another week or so, then I'll be settled in the shop and then be a businessman.
Right.
So I wanted some reason to step out of Vellore and go to a city. So I had to choose between Bangalore or Chennai. Reason being they were closer to my hometown.
Okay.
Right. Then I chose Bangalore. The reason because the architecture in Bangalore is very wonderful. The weather and the cosmopolitan culture compared to Chennai and Bangalore. A little more influence on me because I was born in Bangalore. That drew me to kind of decide.
Sanjay, we have gone through your portfolio. You have a very beautiful portfolio of projects. And now, looking at your portfolio, there were quite a lot of things which are different from other architects. जैसे मतलब मुझे उसमें अपने अर्थ यूज करिए ज़्यादा. You have used more of the sustainable architecture techniques you have used. So elaborate on that कि एक तो वो start कैसे हुआ and how you got to know that these are the techniques which we can use.
So it started. I think from the third year we had a subject called sustainable architecture. The professor was Pumika Kali, who introduced to us on sustainability. And during that day, she also kind of arranged for a live case study. We all were taken to Gurgaon, a building called the Retreat from Terry. Yeah. It's a wonderful campus, right? So I was completely taken over by the concept, the design, the introduction of sustainable features, right from your orientation of building, doing natural cooling of air, taking it underground, chimney effect, and then introducing what you call solar panels for electricity, right, renewable resources, treating the water with soil biofiltration system, and usage of different materials which kind of help them reduce the temperature, right? So Delhi is an extreme climate condition. You get extreme winter, you get extreme summer. So those materials are a very good thermal insulation during the summers. The building used to remain hot, and during winters they used to remain sorry, actually that way. During summers the building used to remain cool. During winters the building used to remain uh, hot. So those were a very good initial eye opener for me during my college days. And once I graduated, I ended up doing a lot of homes where I practiced only in a different conventional architectural. I've been part of very large projects, 30 lakh square feet, residential apartment. I've been part of 40 lakh square feet of commercial and malls, retail spaces. I've been part of layout development, right? So after a point of time, I kind of taken a break, and then I realized that hey, I should be kind of getting into what my strengths are and what I want to do, right? So that's when I kind of introduced to this earth architecture subject. I taken a break from my work, working under different firms, and then I did a course of earth architectural and sustainable development. And that's when I officially did a short-term course of 1 week, try to understand the basics. From there on, I have learned by self-learning, by peer architects, and doing a lot of research, and my interest just grew further and further.
So, what for the layman, कि architecture तो चलो सबको समझ आता है कि architect has to design a building और aesthetically it should look beautiful everything. लेकिन जब हम sustainable architecture की बात करते हैं तो मतलब लोगों को सारी बात समझ नहीं आती. उनको लगता है प्लांट्स लगा दो घर पे या फाउंटेन लगा दो, इट विल बी हाँ ग्रीन कलर कर दो. आई हैव हर्ड दैट कि वो ग्रीन कलर कर दो सो दैट रिफ्लेक्ट्स हीट. तो मतलब होता क्या है एक्चुअली अगर एक लेमैन को समझाना हो तो.
Sustainable itself means that a building can sustain, right? Sustain with time, sustain its needs and environment, it's not depending on the outside resources. Right? So if I have to explain it further, let's say production of electricity, you can do it with solar. Right? And water, you can do a very good rainwater harvesting planning where you can collect the complete rainwater. Depending on where are you going to stand, which part of India, what is the rainfall, you do a calculation, try to understand the coverage, how much of water you can collect during the annual, and you collect the water and then reuse. And water recycling treatment, where you can do a complete treatment of your plant of the domestic and then use it again. So the fresh water demand also reduces. Right? Okay. We talk about materials used to give a comfortable environment within the building. Right? Orientation of the building, again, it helps with natural light. This project is named or tagged as sustainable. Okay. These are the few elements which I have highlighted.
So, question ये आता है कि how you convince your client कि we'll be using this sustainable techniques, because everyone is very familiar with the conventional techniques. वो सबको समझ आती है. So how you convince them?
So before convince the client, I should get convinced what is that I want to propose to the client. Then we try to give them the advantages. If you go with an approach of sustainability, right? What are the advantages? What are the long-term advantages? Of course, initially the cost of the building may escalate a little, But then if it's an end product, you get to kind of not dependent on the outside resources, be it water, be it your utility bills being coming down. You're being great influencer among your neighbors, right? You're giving a very good thermal awareness, environment awareness, and being very environmentally conscious about what you're constructing. The next generation has a very good, right, uh, very good example of what you have done. So we try to tell them a lot of pros and also kind of introduce them about the. So I'll not say disadvantages, but then majorly if you have to say disadvantage, it's more to do with the cost, right? So it will escalate a little cost, but then there's a lot of advantages when you do a sustainable. And most of the clients today are aware about this term called sustainable, right? So I would say we are very lucky in this era where people are well read, well aware, they know what is happening around the world. And being in the city is also icing on the cake that the people who approaches also has that mindset that we want to do something in sustainable.
So, Sanjay, now I want to understand कि जो techniques है for the sustainable architecture. So our talk will be very close to the sustainable architecture as that's your expertise. So मुझे अब जो मेरे viewers है उनको कुछ देना है कि if a person मैं यूं मान लीजिए I want to plan a home, छोटी जगह है, so what are the sustainable techniques I can use to my comfort कि भाई मैं ये चीजें कर पा रहा हूँ easily, be it in Delhi, be it in Bangalore or anywhere. So वो क्या technologies है that I can use or innovations I can implement to feel happy and be sustainable to the environment as well.
तो हम सस्टेनेबल की बात करते हैं तो उसमें एक टर्म और एक इंक्लूड हो जाता है इको फ्रेंडली बेसिकली. सो सस्टेनेबल, इको फ्रेंडली, ऑल लाइक इन a general term we can include even eco friendly.
Right.
So if the size of the plot definitely has an impact, but then that is okay. You can always do even a sustainable or an eco friendly practice or introduction of those techniques even in 1,100 square feet plot. So size is not a concern. Now, what all can we do? Right from your designing till the end of the project cycle. When I say end of the project cycle means after it gets dismantled. So you design, you construct the operation of the building, and then you dismantle, you demolish the building, right? So this complete process, and at every process you can introduce sustainable and eco-friendly. If I have to give an example, say if we construct, first of all, we can go for smaller projects, we can go on load-bearing structures where we can avoid pillar and beam construction, right? So we can avoid steel, cement, which means you are reducing the carbon footprint. You're doing a load-bearing structure. Now, understanding the local materials, whatever you are going to design or construct, first you have to understand the local techniques, local materials which are available. Adopt those in your design and then construct. So if I have to talk about Bangalore, because I'm practicing Bangalore, so I'll give you a lot more example of practice in Bangalore, the material and the technique which I'm going to talk about. Right? So if I have to do here, then I'll go with exposed compressed stabilized earth blocks, right? Which is called CSEB, compressed stabilized earth blocks. Now these blocks are made of CSEB.
Okay.
These blocks are basically the excavated earth which we have it. We get it test, and there is a certain proportion of gravel, sand, cement, and clay. Right? So you mix that in a proportion, and you add a mixture like cement, and then you compress it. Now that is only compression. There's no burning involved. There's no transportation involved. And it's a very good thermal product because it's earth, right? And then you're ready to use those blocks, right? So in case if you don't have earth which is available in your site, you can always source it from your neighborhood. A lot of construction activities going on, but a lot of outskirts from where you can pick your earth. So that is one aspect where you can do your own block, which is not required burning. Now these blocks doesn't require plastering and painting. So you're further reducing the treatment involved. So when you plaster again, you introduce cements, and when you do paint, you have to introduce a lot of chemicals. So those can be avoided. So one is your wall construction. Now
So
going forward,
these blocks can be made anywhere, or they need a specific soil for?
no, anywhere this depends, as I mentioned, right? There's a proportion of this earth mixture for compressed stabilizer.
Okay.
Right? So you have a mixture of gravel, sand, silt, and clay. Right? There's a certain proportion. So in Bangalore, there's a deficiency of sand. So we add quarry dust or river sand to bring that proportion with adding a 5 to 7% of cement.
Okay.
That's the condition in Bangalore. Now, if you go to any hilly area, there's a lot of gravels. So you may have to introduce some other way of doing. Maybe you construct with stones. Right? You can use rough stone to your construction. Yes.
We need to test the available soil, and then we need to add whatever is the deficiencies.
Deficiency, yes.
Okay.
And then when we talk about the design, the orientation of the buildings, right? So you understand the sun path, you understand your neighbor buildings, and then you create openings where you can get natural light. You do ventilation wherein you adopt stack effect. Stack effect is something where you let the fresh air coming in at the lower level and letting go of the hot air in the upper level. So those are certain techniques which you adopt to make the building natural lit and naturally ventilated, where you can avoid the dependency of mechanical use of electricity like fan, AC, or tube lights. Right? So another way which you can adopt in any part of India. Then comes your techniques of construction. So one was your building structure. The other one, I could say you try to adopt different slab which we can explore. Right? There are different types of slab where we can avoid conventional RCC roofing. Right? You can do slabs like jack arch, which are made out of brick, a series of arches. You can introduce vault roof, right? So it's a complete roof which is made out of brick. You can introduce that.
It is what? It is dome roof.
Vault roof.
Vault roof. Okay.
Vault roof, where you can, the complete structure is, roofing is done with your, what you call, brick. It can be done with brick.
Okay.
Now, it is not the roofing. I'm talking about even the intermediate slab.
Okay.
And you can introduce filler slabs, right? So filler slab is also very good.
The intermediate slab can take the load. Can take the load of the upper floor.
Yes, it can. All these techniques which I'm talking about, the slab can be an intermediate slab. It can also be your topmost roof slab.
Okay.
Right. And then your filler slab concept, where you replace the dead load of the slab with the filler material, which helps you to increase the distance of steel and also reduces the concrete demand. And it becomes very aesthetically pleasing to see it from the bottom. You can introduce the filler material as terracotta pot or a terracotta tile. So you use coconut shell. Even those blocks, the earth blocks, also you can place it to make it as a filler slab.
Okay.
Then you can introduce something called Audi block slab, madras tile roof. There's a lot of options which you can explore. Those can be your roofing or a slab options. And then the in a hot region, right? One of the major concerns is how do you make sure the topmost floor remains cooler in summer, right? Because a lot of heat comes from the slab. So you adopt a system where at the roof level you introduce those pots and then do the finishing of the pot. The cavity between which is created in the pot will help reduce the temperature. So one is that. The other option is, of course, as I mentioned, you can introduce solar panels for your electricity, introduce water cycling, where you can, with the plant, the root of a plant can purify your water. Right? It can sit on a terrace. You collect all your wastewater, be it your shower water, your kitchen water, your utility water. Complete domestic use of water can be collected in the sun. Pop it up. The root of the plant purifies the water, and you can again use it by your flushing and gardening purposes. Right?
Okay.
So here the demand of the water is reduced by 50%. Because in a day, the maximum usage is flushing.
Yeah, right.
So that takes place by your recycling work.
So these can be done in the houses as well.
Yes, yes. Can be done as I mentioned, 1,100 square feet plot, you can easily adopt all this. Forget about bigger projects. Bigger projects, you have many more options to explore. Technologies are there. But I'm talking about all this basic principle which can be adopted.
So you need to have separate times for the collection and the cleaning of the
Yeah, you need to have one wastewater collection tank. One is your normal domestic water. As I mentioned, right, so your infrastructure cost may increase initially, but over a period of time, all this will reduce on your daily maintenance utility bills. And furthermore, you're not dependent on the outside resources. So that's why you're sustaining. You're sustaining by yourself. The building is sustaining by itself. So in water management, you can also do is collect the rainwater, use it, and then excess can go to the ground.
Okay.
Right? In another project, what we have done is the terrace level. We have been an urban area. We will not get a lot of ground space, right? So that's where the concept of terrace garden came in.
Yeah.
So we made that as a very effective in one of the projects. And in the terrace garden, we have designed to accommodate 15 to 17 species of fruits and vegetables. So the family is taking their regular vegetables from there. The waste of that, and the waste of the kitchen, the wet waste, is collected and put in a drum. That gives a methane gas. That is used for your cooking and gardening process. Okay. So fertilizer is used, and the methane gas gives you the LPG, your natural gas.
Right.
And they source a cylinder in a 7 to 8 months time. The rest has been taken care of. Again, I'm sustaining by myself. I'm not depending on the outsource. The gas is also a basic requirement in a restaurant. So these are elements which can be introduced. You can be sustainable. It's just the mindset and the lifestyle basically. There's a lot of options. There are options which vary from place to place. When I was a child, I used to be told that के हर 25 किलोमीटर में आपको भाषा, पानी और खाना बदलेगा, राइट? तो सस्टेनेबल का जो अप्रोच है वो भी आपके हर एक सिटी से सिटी वेरी होता है, राइट? एक स्टैंडर्ड प्रैक्टिस नहीं है कि वो जो बैंगलोर में अप्लाई हो रहा है वो आपको दिल्ली में भी अप्लाई करना है, करेक्ट करेक्ट. It is a contextual based. We need to analyze that area, those places, and then.
So you need the mindset and the support of an architect like you who knows in detail what exactly is to be done and what can be possible. You can't implement everything on a single plot.
Yes. Great. You can implement in a single plot, yes.
Everything.
Whatever I mentioned, you can implement in 1,000 square feet.
Oh, I'm still not able to believe that. But surely we'll try the project.
Definitely. We have. You can see the projects which we have done where you can see all these features being introduced. All these construction techniques have been used. The design elements, the materials, water recycling, the biogas, all these things. We have been doing it in even smaller projects. Forget about the bigger projects.
So the techniques are also there on your website. Can we go through that?
Yes, you can. So if you have to name few projects, please look into Bhumi. You know, one project where we done a lot of this. You can look into Pocher. You can look into Adambara. Right? So these are the projects which we have introduced all these features there. So it will give you a very good example on how it is possible.
We discuss the complete project later on. So. So, another question I have is the design process. What actually is your design approach when you start off a project, be it a residential or a commercial? You're doing all type of projects. So, what type of approach you have when it comes to the designing?
The design process is basically initial was a client interaction, trying to understand the requirement, trying to understand the context around the site. right? The local architecture. So we try to do that complete understanding, the requirement aspect, and then those things we do the initial stage. So that is been understood. We
Okay.
start with the conceptual design. So when we
Right.
talk about conceptual design, we do a brainstorming in terms of ideation which we want to come before this project, and then we explore different aesthetics in terms of the finished product. We introduce the client with natural finished product buildings. It is about different forms, different techniques, with the help of sketches, with the help of 3D models, even with mood boards, right? So those we do at the concept design stage. So
Okay.
once the concept has been finalized, client gives their feedback, and after that we go into the schematic design. So the schematic design is basically a further development of the concept on which the client has agreed upon. And we make that concept into a more practical approach, right? Introducing the architectural elements, and then kind of look into the complete clarity in terms of visuals, right? Material, form, what we call the finishes.
Yeah.
Vastu is also being introduced, trying to kind of finalize it with the Vastu requirement. So once the schematic is also being prepared, and we go into the design development stage. So when we refine the drawings and everything with respect to our other engineering services, be it your electrical, plumbing, structural, HVAC, those things have been also been parallelly worked out after during the schematic, but then we further develop into design development.
Okay.
You have a further fine tuning of the drawing. You collaborate with all those consultants. And then after that period, you start working on the budget.
Sanjay, I'll interrupt you here. So when you are talking about the concept, so client को समझ आ जाता है when you are going for these sketches and something, क्योंकि client मैंने जो observe किया कि client is more interested in the aesthetics of the building, कि बाहर से कैसी दिखेगी या what would be the covered area of it. So कैसे आप उसको explain करते हो या concept से कैसे relate कर पाते हो?
तो बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट में जो हम क्या करते हैं, पहले तो उनके जो रिक्वायरमेंट है दैट इज बीन पुट इन अ प्लान, right, where we are addressing the complete requirement, the flow of the design, the spaces, and supported by sketches or let's say 3D visualizations, internal and external, on a very conceptual level. Okay. What we want to kind of propose them in terms of the form, the material, the technique, and also supported with some mood board images, right? So that kind of help them visualize what is that we are proposing. And that kind of we understand where are we leading towards. So if they want to go into this particular style of architecture, we propose a couple of styles, right? So that is the derived after the initial meeting, right? Yeah, the initial meeting itself, we get a sense of what is that the client is looking for.
Right.
And hence, the concept is being developed according to those initial discussion.
Okay. So after the concept, you work on the working drawings and all.
Thematic construction, design development, collaboration with consultants, right? So construction drawings we do. And then finally, we have construction phase. The construction phase, we give all the drawings in detail, where the contractor has to just follow the drawing, the specification. And we have a periodic visit to make sure each and every aspect is being followed as per the design, the technical aspect, and the technique of construction which we are proposing. And then at the time of building completion, we have a project completion and handover. Right? So where we can also give a complete as-built drawings, take them to the client on these features, what are the do's and don'ts. So that's how we complete the project.
So the techniques we have discussed, which you are implementing in your projects. So आपकी site visits भी होती होंगी वहाँ पे for the implementation. So these techniques, मतलब contractors generally don't know about these techniques. So how you make sure कि ये implementation जो है ये बिल्कुल सही तरीके से हो, क्योंकि क्लाइंट को तो एंड प्रोडक्ट चाहिए विच यू आर प्रॉमिसिंग कि दिस टेक्निक विल डू दिस एडवांटेज इन योर लाइफ. So how you ensure that?
See, I will often give the scenarios where I have worked with a contractor who has never worked in any of such material or techniques.
Okay.
So what there we do is first we kind of introduce that contractor, we kind of educate them what we are doing, the plan, and try to show him a couple of examples. And then we visit the site quite often or advise a client to hire an engineer who can explain at the site. As an architect, we have very limited role on site. Right? So we can hire an engineer who has a prior experience and then get it executed. If not, they can take an additional service from the architect who can visit on a regular basis and make sure the construction team is able to understand and then get educated in erect the building. Right? So that is one kind of scenario we had. Other scenario what we had is the contractor who we have finalized already had a prior experience in all this material and techniques. So there the hand holding is very less. It becomes very easier for the architect. You just give the detail and the construction is taken care by the contractor. This already has done in the past. So which is a very smoother medium of working.
All right. So you are hand holding the contractor till the end, the work is done.
Yes.
Good. Actually, contractors need that support from the architect.
Yeah. If they are being so there are instances where the contractor was not able to find some material. So we had kind of able to kind of source that material from our contact and supply to the client. In one of the techniques where we have done Rotok Dome, the local contractor was not able to kind of do this structure which we proposed. And then we contacted someone who has done it in the past, and then we shared those details with the contractor, and then the contractor has arranged for the same team to come and do it here, where he is also learned. His team is also learned in the process of that erection of roof.
Right, great. So now, Sanjay, I want to discuss your 3 outstanding projects, and you let me know why they are outstanding. Top 3 projects you have done. और उसमें ऐसी क्या खास बात?
ऐसा मुश्किल है top 3 outstanding project.
We have a lot of time.
वैसे नहीं हमारा क्लाइंट अगर सुनेंगे तो वो डिसअपॉइंट हो जाएगा कि उनका प्रोजेक्ट का नाम नहीं लिया तो instead of that I would say 3 projects which had a different approach and different techniques.
Go ahead. Okay.
To start with, I'll go into the same order, right from the initial stage to the right. So a very initial project which is Bhumi, right? Bhumi is a project which we have a lot of recognition. The client gave us a completely free hand, where we explore a lot of sustainable features, eco-friendly techniques, and everything. That project is a very, very interesting project because what we have done is an existing ground floor residence where we added another floor on the top. It was a load-bearing structure, and the client was inclined towards eco-friendly and sustainable design. He was referred by our previous client, and then we introduced them about all these features, which I just explained to you, and he was very fascinated. And then, so when he gave us a free hand, we explored a lot of variation options. So one design element I would like to highlight here is the stack effect which we introduced in this project, right? So it was introduced with different requirements, addressing the aesthetic of the house, introducing natural light, introducing natural ventilation, being the focal point of the house. So all this were implemented in one design element, which is the central courtyard of this house, right? So this courtyard was designed in such a way where the roof of the courtyard was introduced with filler slab concept. The filler slab which has punchers in it, right? So those punchers were derived from frustums or clay pot designed in a frustum manner. So those be placed before pouring the concrete, at the sheltering level, we pour those, place those fresh stems and then cast it the slab. Now, this helped me creating punches in the slab. So that in fact, the natural air which is coming at the bottom, the hot air which is raising at the top, were able to warm. It lost out. The stack effect is that basically your hot air which is lighter in nature, which raises up, the cool air which are heavier, it settles down.
Yeah.
So if you have a proper circulation of that air where you have a cross ventilation, where you get the fresh air at the lower level and letting out the hot air at the upper level. So that's the concept which we introduced. Those custom helped us to let go the hot air. Now what we did was we put a glass on top so that the water doesn't come in. But before placing the glass, we introduced it's a rectangular space. Courtyard is a rectangular space. So on the top, instead of building 4 walls all around, we have only constructed 2 walls, and the other 2 walls being fixed with a bunk mesh.
Okay.
Right. So the hot air is coming out and then going out from the bunk mesh. The glass is protecting the rain or mosquitoes, right, and not letting the insects come in.
Yeah.
And then you're getting a lot of natural light. So this concept was something which was introduced to the client, and the client was very happy. So
in this, the technique you have mentioned. So in this home, we don't need air conditions or what, or still we need that.
Here we don't have a air condition.
Okay.
Provision also. Forget about it. We're not even using provision for it.
So that can be managed without ACs.
Yes. They don't even switch on the fan more than 5-6 months in a year. Bangalore itself has a very good present temperature, but off late even we are getting temperature which is at a high level. But then still, in such houses you can even minimize the requirement of fan. Forget the AC.
So if I think about the cost, it's saving a lot of money as well. The purchasing cost as well and the running cost as well of the air conditioner.
Yes. So and then the other features were we introduced a lot of materials which were natural, right from the stone, which is a natural limestone. Then the blocks which I spoke about, the CSCP block were introduced. We introduced filler slabs in the other places. We introduced the first time we did this soil biofiltration system for water recycling. Right? That was the first project which we started with. That was the first project which we did the biogas with the garden waste and the kitchen waste. So these were our first initial attempt where the client gave us the free hand and then we could adopt and propose and then also get it executed. Bhumi is that way very close. And the other project which I would like to highlight is the recently completed project which is called Audumbara.
Audumbara.
Right? Audumbara.
Okay.
The name of tree.
Okay.
So this project, why I want to discuss about this? Okay, one, definitely it's a smaller plot, it's a 30-50. It's a completely G+2 load bearing structure, and there's no pillar and a beam except for one which is the car parking. Okay. We have introduced different types of slab techniques, right? All that is being introduced. We have a completely natural lit and ventilated houses.
Okay.
The most important as an architect, why this project is special to me is because the complete design and the detailing was completed before we hit the ground.
Okay.
Right? Every detailing, specification, aesthetics, material selection, everything was discussed and finalized with the client before the BOQ was prepared.
Okay.
So I would say only 5% variation might have happened during the construction phase. So what we envisioned, we proposed, we have delivered that.
That's
so
an
that project is very good.
That's an achievement if your variation is only 5%.
Yeah, that was a very satisfying project.
Yeah.
We have a project where we can completely say, okay, this is what our proposal in 2D, this is what our proposal in 3D, and this is our final output in your product, the final photographs. You see, all look almost 95% matching. So that was one project. And then there's another project which unfortunately didn't take off because of Corona. The complete design and detailing was completed. We were about to hit the ground and Corona hit. This project is called Urban Gurukul. It's a school for K to 12.
Okay.
Right? And this the client was very interesting to kind of come with the philosophy of Indian Indian way of teaching, right? So he was open to explore a lot of different methods of teaching and everything. So we introduced them the Gurukul concept. We came up with a concept where we adopt the Indian style of teaching and with modern facilities, right?
Mm.
Which gave them a collaborative learning spaces, which gave them an outdoor activity. For kids, we have proposed a sensory garden uh, where the kids were learning from their activity, be it your touch, smell, and taste, the rough touch and everything. So garden was proposed. So in the initial, right, our ancestral time, kids used to go school, I would say much older. Now we send the kids very early.
Yeah, right.
And all then they will learn their practical day-to-day activities. Right? So that those concepts we wanted to kind of bring into this school. Also the elders teaching the younger ones. So we gave them those infrastructure, those pockets where the elders grade students are teaching the younger grade students. Right? We gave them a concept of saying eating together, right? Eating together with hands. Now you see a lot of kids are starting eating with spoons, so that is not the Indian practice.
Mm.
Right? These are the and ethics, the social ethics, so, and the Indian festivals. They are giving them a complete architectural facility where they can uh, gather and then celebrate those apart from their curricular requirement. Curriculums definitely is met in the school design. These are the elements which we proposed in the design.
Mm.
That's why this project is also very close to us.
It was very nice to hear that those concepts that people are eating
Yes.
with kids are eating with hands. क्योंकि
Hands.
आजकल तो I am seeing that my kid is trying chopsticks. He's not using
So,
spoon.
yeah, we kind of propose them to you open nature learning, remove the footwears before entering the classrooms, do a namaste kind of a concept. So not only designing the school, we also help them to kind of set the practice of curriculum also with the architecture design. So only if both come together, then the architecture will blend with the day-to-day need and requirement.
Yeah. So kids' behavior does show us ना where are we heading towards. So
Yes.
जब वो chopstick से खा रही थी ना, तो I was thinking कि तू रोटी खा रही है, chopstick से क्यों खा रही है?
That's it.
It is the influence. So next is Sanjay, how you stay creative in this field? क्योंकि मैंने architects देखे, I have worked with lot of architects. हम मिल भी रहे हैं काफी architects से. तो होता क्या है कि एक टाइम के बाद they get commercialized कि प्रोजेक्ट्स पे प्रोजेक्ट्स आ रहे हैं, they don't have much time to give to one project और फटाफट वो टर्न अराउंड हो रहा है. So the design part and the elements you're talking about in detail, they side हो जाते हैं सारे. So how you stay creative so that you can continue this approach?
It's a passion, right? More than anything, it's a passion. So it comes with a passion and creative. Staying up to date with the current trend is nothing but a continuous learning. From the latest architectural trends, the materials. We are very open to adopt things, right? So we are somebody who want to adopt new material, new techniques, trying to get influence from my surrounding natures, right? Absorbing what is around me. So, and architecture is a field where you have to be creative. You have to come with something new. You keep discussing with your peer architects, keep discussing with your client, keep discussing with your consultants, and ideas come from different places.
Right.
Right? Unless it's a regular 9 to 5 job, no, architecture is completely different. And to practice this particular sustainable, where you're saying the number of projects being overtaken with your normal conventional one, this is purely the passion. So I have kind of been very clear that I want to continue this practice. We are aware that we will be doing an n number of projects in the year, and we will not be doing more than that, which we are aware.
Okay.
Also, the team which is working also is aware of what we do. It is very important.
So
Right?
can you place the cap on the projects you want to do a year? Is it possible?
No. Thought about it. Okay, what is the cap? As far as we're able to kind of give the requirement of design and construction related, till now we have not gone in a situation where I said, okay, we are hands are full and we are not able to do projects. We are good. The number of because we are also very particular about the projects which we want to take. Like we generally don't take a conventional project upfront. I will not say we don't do it. We definitely do the conventional projects. But the priority is more towards such projects which has more output in terms of philosophy which is there.
One advice you want to give to the budding architects who are in the college or coming out of college right now?
So somebody who's a career oriented, I think so. You should be open for learning and adaptability. You have to keep learning. Right? There's a lot of techniques which are coming. During my initial days, there was no use of 3D printing. Now we have something called 3D printing, which will print a complete building. Right? So it is not to that scale or a technique which is still there in India, but I'm sure it is going to come out. Right? You have to keep learning. You have to keep adopting. I cannot say that okay, I don't want to adopt this in my design. So, these two things I would say is a very, very important aspect for a budding architect, where you be in the day-to-day, the latest trend, adopt with your consultants, adopt with your peer architects, try to work with them. These are the things I would say.
So you told me that architects, the budding architects should do this, this, this. Now I want to know, budding architect, what should they not do? What should they avoid to become a very conventional kind of a person in the architecture? Any advice? भाई कौन सी चीज को अवॉइड करना?
ये सवाल का जवाब देना थोड़ा मुश्किल है. I will try to give that. I think so. They need to understand the form and the function of the building more than the aesthetics. Aesthetics is the resultant of these two, right? So what I see today, even the portfolios of the interns or the fresh architects, there's a lot of highlights is being given on the 3D aspect, the aesthetics of the building, which is important. I'm not denying it, but the form and the function is also equally important. Right? So I think so that answers your question.
So Sanjay, I'm at the end of this episode. I have no more questions, but still I have a query. I don't want to end this right now. I have a query कि जो आपने अभी filler slab की बात करी. I want to understand the detail. I want to implement this in one of our projects in Delhi. So what is the advice you want to give कि कैसे start कैसे करें और उसको सही तरीके से implement कैसे करें?
देखिए filler slab actually होता क्या है पहले तो ये समझना है. Filler slab is nothing but it is a material which is replacing the dead weight of the concrete which is not required for the load the structure. Right? If a slab is required to be casted, forget if it is being used for some purpose. If it is not getting used, even a grid is enough to make the structure stand. Right? Now, why do we do a solid slab? Because we want to use that. We don't want the light or the water coming in. Hence, we make a thicker than a solid slab.
Correct.
Now, by doing that, your dead load increases, right? Because your concrete has increased, your steel is increasing because you're increasing the concrete, the space between the steel is also increasing.
Mhm.
So what we do is we increase the filler material, which is lighter in nature, and also something which bonds good with the concrete.
Okay.
So you place those at a distance of let's say you take a filler material 1 foot by 15 inches.
Mhm.
So what happens here is your spacing of the steel generally in a slab it becomes somewhere 5 inches to 6 inches to the steel
Mhm.
because the dead load because of the dead load of the concrete you have to place in such a distance. So if you make a filler material coming in, your distance between the steel increases to 15 by 18 instead of 16 by 16. So there you are reducing the steel,
Mhm.
right? There you are reducing the concrete. And also the benefit what you get is you get a very aesthetically appealing ceiling. You don't have to do a false ceiling, you don't have to do a wooden finishing or a texture paint. That itself will give you a
I can do the conduiting, electrical conduiting all in that
yes,
slab.
you can plan your quantity, you can do your fan fixtures, all
Mhm.
this you can do. So that's a grid, right? That's a concrete grid which is going. You place them in at a distance. You can also place touching each other. Now that purely depends on what filler material you use
Mhm.
and how do you want as the aesthetical element from the lower floor when you come.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can use filler materials as pots, as
Use any material which has a good bonding properties with concrete.
okay.
It can be a coconut shell, it can be even plastic like keyboards,
Mhm.
it can be any metal, it can be clay products, any material which can have a good bonding property.
It's actually a valuable information. So thank you, Sanjay. Thank you so much for your time. It was very
Welcome.
nice talking to you. Thank you for so much of knowledge on the architecture, on the sustainable details you have given. We
Thank you,
can
thank you very much for
we can do another episode on the filler slab as well. We'll definitely plan that
okay.
again. Thank you so much.
So thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
We'll see you again. Bye bye.
Thank you for inviting me, and it was a very pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.